Hello and welcome back to a new video. In this video I will introduce a new tool that I use to get a lot of alteration shards and alteration orbs in the current league and the past leagues as well. Then I'm going over the new compile tool of all of the other lists, and I do a live showcase of how it actually works because there were a few questions. And in the third part of the video I will go through some of the comments of the last video and I will answer them, because if some people have this question, maybe more people would like an answer. And now right into the video. Before we jump into the video, I first of all wanted to thank all of you who watched the prior video and supported me in either way or form. And thanks for the over 1000 of minutes of watch time and over 500 video openings. And also thanks for the subscribers. And it was really cool seeing all of the support for my first real upload. And it's very generous of all of you, and thanks for that. And now to the new compile tool. We have softcore temp league, which is currently ritual league, and then hardcore temp is the ritual hardcore version. Then we have standard and hardcore. I disabled the hardcore one because there isn't that much data and people aren't trading as much in hardcore. And if people want the hardcore version, they can get it from the prior video. The main part of the video is this sheet. My Path of Exile mate and me, we go very quickly into the league, into the uber strict loot filter from Neversink. And once we are in the uber strict version, we don't pick up any transmutation orbs or blacksmith whetstones and armor scraps anymore. And then we need a new source of wisdoms. And usually we meme around with the scholar, and because it gives over 10 wisdom scrolls per card basically. And then we hype it up super hard. So, oh my god, you won't believe what happened. Did you drop an X? No, even better, a scholar. Basically, we are very starved for wisdoms all of the time. We pick up still some rares. And I have like 5 dump tabs full of rares. And I ID them at the second or third day usually and sell them, which isn't optimal. But I don't really want to bother with picking up all of the wisdom stuff. Therefore, I buy it and I use this tool. And I implemented it for all of the other versions of the game as well, not just my current league. And for example, it works like this. Wisdom per se, if you buy wisdom scrolls directly for 1 chaos, you get around 88 wisdoms per chaos. If you buy portals, you get like 28. If you buy armor scraps and sell them to the vendor, you get around 112 wisdoms per se currently. And I saw this meme on Reddit, and I thought maybe that's even a smart use of the Piranhas coins, and therefore implemented it as well. And there are 2 currencies that can convert an item into a rare from being a white base. And the first one is an alchemy orb, and you pay 1 chaos and you get 6.5 alchs out of this. And the second form is the orb of binding, which transforms an item into a 4-link if possible, but you can also use it on maps. And you can get almost 12 Orb of Binding for 1 chaos, and that's currently the superior method of acquiring something similar to alchemy. And the same for standard, you can see where you get the most bang out of your buck. And in hardcore there are barely any listings, so it just shows this error message. And when I use these wisdoms for my quad tabs or full dump tabs of items, and I try to sell them, and if they don't sell, then I convert them to alteration shards, alchemy shards, and whatever. I just sell them to the vendor, and that's one of my sources of how I get a lot of alterations, just like everybody else, but I get them from a cheaper source more or less. And I want to share that as well, and I hope you enjoy it. And now I showcase the trading tool. First we search for profitable trade, and currently in Ritual there are barely any in this tool. And in Hardcore Ritual, then you will pay 10 chaos per 73 alts, and if you multiply it times 5.4, then you get around 400 alterations per exalt. And if you sell the alterations again for exalts, then you only have to pay 315 alterations. That means you make 80 alterations of profit, and if you convert that back to chaos, then it's almost 11 chaos profit. And if you do that like 5 times, you made 1 exalt. Then you can see how much profit you make per chaos invested. For every chaos you put in, you make 1 chaos back, and that's useful if you don't want to go too hard into one trade and you want to diversify. Then you can see like your return. For example, if I primarily flip alts and alchs, then I make 5C profit and 1C profit, and if I use an even weighting, then I make around 3C profit per transaction, if you want to look at that like a portfolio construction. And sometimes you want to do this if you can't primarily only flip orcs and you need to diversify a bit, because that way you don't make as much profit, but it's more consistent and you don't have to wait like 2 hours for a really big flip. For example, if you look at the softcode temp, you could theoretically flip glassblowers and double your money, but it's unrealistic. And I wanted to showcase a horrendous flip, but somebody really pumped up the price on the selling horrendous coins for X, and I'm not going to do that right now, and maybe cut the video and make it later on if it's just something other profitable, because I don't have the amount of assets needed for a mirror flip right now, and I don't really want to flip glassblowers because it's very rare that people need 200 glassblowers, but I would make a decent profit of this. And for the explanation, I put them up there, and I'm not happy with how long they are. And this is what you pay in chaos. This is what you get. The other currencies, for example, that one on the left, you get the others, which are alts, views, orgs, chaos, gem cutters, X, whatever. I'm not sure if the 70 is currently correct, and this is the average of the best 2 listings, and can be messed around with price fixes. And then how much other you get with your prior chaos to X ratio, and you basically invest into this rate. You buy with your chaos and you get others, and you do this for 1 exalt worth, basically 70C worth. And my data source is poe.trade, and you go to this website, and then you go to currency market, and then you can see all of the rates that I use. Let's go with the alteration first, even if it's not that profitable right now. If you have a premium tab, then you can type in Orb of Alteration if you want one. Usually you can get most of the exact price currencies, and if you want something that isn't really listed in the drop down menu, then you can type in something from there. For example, if you want to buy hydras, then you go type in hydra, and then it goes like this. You type in 1 hydra basically per 2 chaos, and the number at the end is how much you pay in currency that you're listed for, and the first number is for what you want. For example, you want 1 hydra fragment for 2 chaos, and then it's listed, and that's what you use the currency tags for if you have something else that you want to list or that doesn't show. And another method is you manage a shop, and you can check out this link, and then you make your listings there. But for now, we go with the tool. We have chaos, 2 alts, and also the X price. And first of all, you have to look from the other perspective of the person that wants to buy your chaos. So you go, what do you want? Chaos, and what you have is alterations. And then you get the rate around 3.8 per chaos. We get 342 by 89, and it turns out it's 3.84, just like we saw in there, and that's our best rate, and it goes to the average, so it's 3842. Yeah, it's the average of the first 2. Then we know how much alterations we get, and then we go from the other perspective of the buyer again, and then the buyer wants alterations, and he provides us with exalted orbs, and then we see the rate of 330 to 315. So it's approximately 320 alterations for one Exalt that we have to pay. And it's 322, so it's not profitable. We would lose like 50 alts every time we trade, and in Chaos that we would lose as 14C. And that's how the tool works if it isn't mispriced like this. And some people want to sell their alts and whatever at a loss even compared to how much profit they could make otherwise, because they are in a rush to converting it to Exalted Orbs or don't want to hassle with it. And another thing you have to look at is how much currency they have, and you have to do that manually. For example, these people, they have the listing for 350 and they only own like 200 alts or 300, and they can fulfill the trade. And then you have to look manually for trades that are able to be fulfilled. For example, this dude has 4,000, so he can trade this. And then the price goes closer to 300, but it's still not profitable. And now we will go through some of the comments. And this one, I first of all thought he was serious, but later on he told me he was just memeing around. But in general, if you have a trade, you should first of all confirm it both ways. For example, you have enough alterations for first Exalt, then you list it and see which price gets picked up by the market. And then you should also confirm how much of Alteration Orbs you can get for one Chaos. Then you can adapt the price over time, and once both prices are confirmed by the market, then you can begin trading. And don't go too hard into one trade, diversify a bit maybe. And if the trade doesn't work out or isn't profitable anymore, you can either use the currency yourself or convert it back to Chaos, maybe at a slight loss or profit, whatever. And this tool is automated, and it picks the most recent rates. And if you watch it for a longer time, you can see it updating live without me being in the tool. And this is a very common problem for people that trade, because you have to look from the other person's perspective, and people are just mixing up who buys what and who pays what. In this tool, we pay the Chaos and we will get the alterations, and we have to look from the buyer's side, and the buyer pays us alterations and we pay him Chaos. And if you look from the other perspective of what you want and what you pay, then there's the mix-up of the currency rate. For example, here you can see somebody that mispriced it, and we can go with this rate. So 4.5, you pay him 4.5 alterations and you get one Chaos back. And there lies a big profit in there, like 0.7 alterations per Chaos. And that's the usual mix-up. And you can flip that way too. And I plan on uploading this tool in the future, but for now, the Chaos to other currency and the other currency back to Exalted Orbs, and then the Exalted Orb back to Chaos is the most profitable most of the time. But if you want more reliable profit, then this one is good as well. You just flip the Chaos to Alteration and then the Alteration back to Chaos, and then you continuously do that cycle. And I plan on uploading a tool like that in the future, but I wanted to upload the Exalt tool first because it has the most profit potential for the least amount of time. And then we get to the next comment, and somebody wanted to know how to create this tool, and it's an input function from Google Spreadsheets. It's either import HTML or XML, and you can see here and here, and I also put in a link where you can find it. And I wanted to know what he uses the tool for, and he wanted to make an improved version of my tool. I was a bit upset, but it was a friendly competition, and so I continuously helped him. Maybe he makes a better tool than me and shares it with the community, or not, it's okay too. And I think it's really difficult and maybe struggles a bit with this, and I won't share too much because that's like my competitive advantage, and I don't want to stress the server provider of poe.trade too much. with too many people using similar tools, making the same pulls simultaneously. It's like DDoSing a server, and I try to avoid that. So I have to be careful with what I share, and you likely understand. As most of us should have experienced the API being broken and most of the leak starts, you understand why I won't share too much of the data or the tool of how to multiply it for the community, and why I want to be the central host of the transformed data. Thanks for watching my video, and if you want to support me in the future and my creative process and enable me to make my tools in my spare time, then you could consider subscribing to my Patreon, and it's patreon.com/extremelylucky. Here's a quick scroll through. It costs around €3 or $3.5 per month. Here's what I do, and here's all of the output I created so far. You can contact me there or still on Discord or YouTube, and I will respond to too, and I try to respond in a timely manner. And the support I get from Patreon will go mainly towards my electricity bill, because I spend a lot of time on my computer and testing stuff, and that's what I would use it on. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you support me on Patreon, thanks a lot as well. And until next time, bye bye.